Okay, I'm going to be honest here. Nintendo did not do anything wrong. They've never done anything wrong. They are the perfect company for consumers, and
Uh-huh. Yes. Okay, cool. We'll go with that. Mr. What was it? Based Gaming News with the furry persona there. Everyone's got to thank Kev for this video. Say thanks, Kev. Thanks for making me watch this. I haven't decided if it's a meme yet. Because, like, you go to the guy's channel and it's videos like this. So, like, could be a meme, could not be a meme. But, let's just hear what you got to say. Sure. You never know with the furries.
the reason why they're a perfect company for consumers is because people love giving them money. And nobody forced you to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 for $500 or whatever price it is now.
Is it $500 or is it $400? I don't actually know. I mean, I guess decent point. It really does seem like no matter what Nintendo does, there's a segment of the gaming community who just loves giving them money. I can't even argue with that. I'll never understand it. I'll do my best to tell you why you shouldn't do it. But honestly, I'm struggling to find a counter to that point, at least. Yeah, there's people out there who love giving Nintendo money. And gosh, oh golly, I love the incentive that makes for the rest of the industry.
Nobody forced you to buy Mario Kart World for $80. Nobody forced you to buy Donkey Kong Banana Splits for $80. Nobody forced you to buy the Pro Controller or whatever it is now for $70.
Okay, yes. Nobody forced you to buy Nintendo's overpriced Tosh or Tash or Taff. What's the British phrase? Like, that's taff. Oh, that's overpriced taff. I think it's taff. Yes, nobody forced you to buy it. That doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it. In fact, it makes it even less good when people do it. It makes it even more annoying because it incentivizes more companies to be overpriced and stupid. I'm not sure that makes them good for consumers as much as it just makes their average consumer base uninformed at best and bootlicky at worst.
Nobody forced you to buy Pokemon Bank for $5 a month or $3 a month. Nobody forced you to buy...
Wait, Pokemon Bank 3... Is there a Pokemon subscription service? I have to look this up now. I don't care what's new, Chrome. Pokemon Bank. It was a 3DS application for storing up to 3,000 Pokemon in the cloud. No longer available for downloads because the 3DS eShop closed in 2023. Oh, that's great. I love that. It's like, hey, we made you this really cool product. You gotta pay for it. Psych! There it goes. Goodbye. And people wonder why Stop Killing Games has so much juice behind it. It's like, yeah, no, give me your money. Store your Pokemon in the cloud. It's so cool. They're not going anywhere. Oh my gosh, look at that. They went somewhere.
Pokemon Legends AZ is probably it's either $70 or $80 or something along those lines.
If only there was a way to find out.
I think that they are one of the best companies in the world because they really know how to milk their fan base for everything they're worth. They're making their fan base empty their wallets out.
And again, it's a weird angle to take here. I take some issue with the fact that you say that Nintendo did nothing wrong because, look, it's one thing to play to your base. I get that. I really do. And it's one thing to say to yourself, hey, we have all these consumers who will happily overpay for these things that we put zero effort into. Why not overprice them? We might as well jack up the fucking profit ratio. We might as well do that. We might as well spend like 3 shoestrings and a bag of Oreos on the development of the new Pokemon game. People are going to pay $70 for it regardless. And you are correct that as a business strategy, they're good at this. They know their audience. But does that mean they did nothing wrong? They did the smart business thing, but does that mean they did nothing wrong? Just let that one marinate as we continue.
Think about, is that a bad thing? Think about it this way. If you had a group that consists of millions upon millions of people that are actually willing to be spit on, that consent to be spit on, and they're just emptying out their wallets for you, and they're not showing any respect towards themselves, the company that they worship. They simply just exist there to give you money. Would you not accept the money that they're trying to give you? Would you not accept that?
Wait, hang on. Is this Pokemon's named Goomy? Is that the nickname or is that the actual name of the Pokemon? His name is Goomy? Bro, I would get back into Pokemon if there were Pokemons named Goomy.
Let's be honest here. Nowadays, in this economy and everything, everybody needs more money because the world is entirely messed up. I'm not going to get into politics or anything and why the world is messed up.
What? This furry's not going to get into politics? No. No, I wanted the furry to tell me his politics. I bet it's going to be so difficult for me to guess what your politics are if you're a furry. Please tell me.
But we're just simply talking about Nintendo here. And I think if you had a legion of a whole bunch of Nintendo drones that are they just have their wallets open and their pants down for you.
Listen, I get the point you're making. Side note, he's showing gameplay of, I think this is the most recent Pokemon game. Pokemon Cats and Dogs, whatever it is, Pokemon Dick and Balls. I already used that joke a couple of videos ago. I'll come up with a new one. Hang on. Pokemon Brad and Paisley. Sorry. That wasn't funny. I'm going to cut that. But this looks like ass. This looks like liquid ass. I'm sorry. Like, this just looks like garbage. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you bought it. Hold your phones, kids. But like, this looks like shit. And this is why I'm taking issue with this video. Because I get the point you're making, Mr. Furry. I get the point you're making. That Nintendo, as a business, from a business perspective, has done nothing wrong. If by wrong, you mean not profitable, if that makes sense. Are we on the same page? If the goal is to make as much money as possible and as much profit as possible, and that is the only thing that matters, correct. Nintendo did nothing wrong. Because everything Nintendo does is done to maximize the profit margin. Because look at the fucking quality of the garbage they're putting out. Is that wrong? Because yes, you have a legion of paying customers, you have a legion of people who will pay lots of money, and you exist in an industry which is becoming less and less concerned with actually listening to the consumer and instead maximizing profit margins and appealing to people who aren't actually in the gaming community. Why do you think so many games are so light on gameplay now, so obsessed with graphics? It is out of an active attempt to appeal to people not in the gaming industry yet. There's nothing wrong with trying to pull non-gamers into gaming, but there is something wrong with actively rejecting your consumer base. And here's the thing too, there's plenty of people out there who play the new Pokemon, it looks like liquid ass, and you paid too much for it, but you're perfectly happy with it. And you say, why do you care, Joe? Why do you care what I spent my money on? Why do you care if Pokemon looks like ass? I'm enjoying it. But here's the thing, you wouldn't be defending it looking like ass if it didn't look like ass. And there's the rub. Let me put it this way. If a new Pokemon game came out and it looked state of the art, the animations were awesome, the environments were awesome, it looked like a giant global franchise game. A Pokemon game comes out like that. Absolutely no one would then be upset that it didn't look like ass. So ask yourself, why is it the way it is now? If it were a different way, you would have no issue with it. I think you know that you would enjoy it more if it were that other way. So why are you okay with it not being that way when it's perfectly possible to be that way? So is what Nintendo is doing wrong? From a business standpoint, no. From an industry standpoint, from an influence standpoint, from a respect for the consumer standpoint, absolutely. They've done a lot of things wrong, and they continue to do things wrong. And I find it just a little bit strange that you've made a whole video about how Nintendo's done nothing wrong because they're making money. Nintendo's done nothing wrong because people keep paying for it. I just find that strange. Like, all the sins are washed away with enough money. It's just very odd to me.
Would you not, would you not just accept their money? Like, I'm not, I can defend Nintendo on a lot of things, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. It's not affecting the non-Nintendrone kind of person.
And there we have it. It doesn't affect me, so I'll defend it because it makes them money. Which is interesting. I also find it fascinating that you say, it doesn't affect me. I'm not a Nintendrone. I'm not a Nintendrone, so it doesn't affect me. But also, I'm happy to defend it. It's like, why are you defending a corporation making a bunch of money off of products that you seem to know are low effort and overpriced. You're defending that just because you don't consume the product. But I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of the company. I'm not a fan of them. I just think it's a good thing and they've done nothing wrong that they can make money off of, overpriced things. Like, huh?
Yeah, it's not an evil company. They're not doing anything evil or malicious as far as I'm aware.
Evil may be a bit extreme of a word, but I certainly think they're doing some things extremely wrong and extremely anti-consumer. And if you want to look at things from a consumer standpoint, which you kind of seem to want to do, but at the same time don't want to do. Nintendo is so anti-game preservation. They are so anti-game ownership. They are so anti-emulation. They are so anti-preservation. Did I already say preservation? I might have already said preservation. Nintendo is so anti basically everything that the modern games industry from a consumer standpoint is built upon. I consider that to be, again, evil is a bit extreme of a word, but it's certainly behavior that's enough for me to not want to support Nintendo in any way. Even if they did make a product I cared about, I wouldn't support them. Filing suit against people who are trying to preserve games that Nintendo has no interest in preserving themselves. Doing everything they can to get rid of mods on 2-decade, 3-decade-old games to just make the experience better. Yeah, I'm not going to support that.
Aside from some of the ESG propaganda in their games, of course, I'm not, talking about that stuff. I don't see that too much, honestly, in Nintendo games. So
yeah, I don't know anything about that. That's just not my world.
I think the people that are calling Nintendo evil are the same ones that complained about them taking down a transgender flag in Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Okay, well, for a long time, I was actively part of the Smash community, or at least the competitive Melee scene. I guess that's kind of a subsect of the Smash community. I think Smash 4 is one of the worst games I've ever played, and Smash Ultimate is only slightly better. But I was in these circles, okay? I was like in the Smash realm for a long time. And I didn't hear shit about this. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. If that's I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you call Nintendo evil in 2025 because of something regarding Smash, I don't really think people are going to think of the trans flag removal. I haven't heard that. This is the first I'm hearing of that. I think people are more likely going to hear about, I don't know, Nintendo covering for predators in the competitive Smash scene. Nintendo doing everything they can to take legal action against the Melee community because they have the fucking balls to play their own game at a competitive level. Like, this might just be me, but a trans flag being removed from Smash Ultimate, that just seems like very small potatoes when it comes to the mountain of criticism you can levy against Nintendo. Because I consider myself a connoisseur of Nintendo criticism, and this is the first I'm fucking hearing of that.
I think that's the same kind of person that's calling Nintendo evil. Like, you see all those videos that people make where they're like, "Oh, this is the most evil company of all time because they're willing to take money from people."
Again, I find it fascinating that you go out of your way to say, "I'm not a Nintendrone. I'm not a Nintendrone. Doesn't affect me." But here you are going on long tirades about why the criticism of the company is wrong. And it's okay for them to make so much money. The criticism is wrong. And then you just misrepresent the criticism. Nobody is saying Nintendo is evil because people buy their stuff. They're arguably evil. Again, evil is an extreme term, but evil in the sense that you are using it. They're evil for tons of other reasons. What was the point of this video if not to defend Nintendo? But I'm not a Nintendrone.
Hey, just a pro tip, guys. Pro tip. Every company wants to take your money. I don't think you understand this. I don't know if you know what a company is. Do you actually think Funko Pop, the company Funko that makes Funko Pops, do you think that they're your friend or something?
No, I think Funko Pop is the literal devil. I fucking can't stand Funko Pops. I don't know why there's so many of them. I can't stand them. They're so ugly.
If you look at your shelf right now and you show me all of your Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, your Funko Pops, your soy lattes.
You shouldn't put a latte on your shelf. Like, I'm defending you now, Mr. Furry. If you're talking to someone and they put soy lattes on their shelf, like they just collect them, that's fucking disgusting. I will ride into battle alongside you against these people. That is disgusting. Don't do that. First of all, stop drinking soy lattes. Soy lattes are fucking gross. I tried one once just to be like, okay, I got like, I like coffee. I'm from Seattle. I'm a bit of a fag. I'll try a soy latte. Can I say that on YouTube still? But I tried a soy latte once. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever drank. Oh my lord. It was gross. If you unironically enjoy soy products, ooh, all the memes, true. Fact checked on all of the soy memes, true. I do not trust you if you enjoy soy things. They are disgusting.
Your, hair dye you have sitting on the shelf. Do you really, you're going to look at me in the eyes. You're going to look at me in the eyes and tell me that these companies that are made for consumer cattle are actually your friend? Are you actually serious? Are you? I think Nintendo should accept more of their money. I think they should have charged $750 for the Switch too.
Honestly, at this point, that would just be funny. I mean, as a common encourager of the AAA gaming crash, sure, make the Switch 2 $750. I don't care. Speed run the crash. Let's get this over with.
I think they should have. I think they should charge $120 a month for you to buy Nintendo 64 games that you don't even own, and if your subscription runs out, it gets taken away. I think that's genius.
This is where I'm being a little more serious now. I'm being a little more serious. I'm jumping, not to jump back and forth between Jokey Joe and Serious Joe. I couldn't think of a synonym for serious that starts with a J. Jokey Joe and Jersey Mike's Joe. Look, it doesn't. I get the point you're making. I really do. That's why this video is interesting. I really do get the point you're making. But you're being so just dickish about it. And by being so dickish, you're kind of missing the point. People like me criticize Nintendo because I think Nintendo sets a horrendous example for the rest of the industry, especially in the current year with the way things are going. There are certain things about Nintendo that I respect. I respect Nintendo's dedication to gameplay over presentation. I really do. I really do respect that. But also, Nintendo knows their buying base is just going to eat up whatever they do. And not only does that take advantage of the consumer base, but it also sets a bad example for everyone else in the gaming industry to follow suit, to jack up the prices of their games, jack up the prices of their hardware, stop focusing on presentation so much. And by that, I don't mean stop focusing on hyper-realistic graphics. I would love it if we did that. But you know that's not the lesson that people are going to be taking away from this. Nintendo puts out games that look and run like ass, so other companies are going to be like, oh, that means we don't have to optimize our games anymore. They're not going to say, oh, that means we don't need to focus so much on the fucking sweat pores and eyeball textures in our games. They're going to take that as, oh, we don't have to think about 60 FPS. We don't have to think about stable frame rates, because Nintendo doesn't think about that. And look at how well they're doing. Do you get what I'm saying? There's two very different parts of the argument you're making here, and one of them is just going ignored, and that's why it bugs me.
I think that is the most genius thing that they've ever come up with. I'm gonna be honest here, man. If you put me in charge of the company, I'll be charging $1,200 for the next console. You know, all these new gaming PCs, the pre-built ones, cost $12,000. So instead of buying a new car,
console fanboy starts talking stuff about a PC that he has no knowledge of. Wow, I'm so surprised. Color me surprised with the surprise crayon.
Or something like that, just buy buy our next console. Buy our next console for $1,200. You think about it, man. Are they evil because they accept money?
It's not evil to accept money. It is evil in the sense that you are using the word evil for them to overprice and knowingly set horrible examples for the rest of the industry, and also put none of their gigantic profits into improving the product. Whether or not they actually sell the product is another question. I'm still holding out hope for another Wii U situation, because that did set Nintendo's ambitions back a bit. And I appreciated that. I don't think it's a surprise that the Wii U was a complete fucking fumble, and then the Switch, while technically underpowered, was actually, at the beginning, fairly priced. The first-party games were fairly innovative. There was clearly effort on display. But now here we are in the Switch 2, and it's right back to just fucking mediocrity that's overpriced and looks and runs like shit. The problem is not that Nintendo is just shoveling shit to people who will buy. The problem is that Nintendo does not remember the lessons they learned 10 years ago. And that is going to lead to a lot of frustration for the consumer, not only of Nintendo products, but consumer of just gaming products in general, who are looking at Nintendo as an influence and a green light of what they can do now.
That makes a whole lot of companies evil if they're just willing to accept money that's blatantly consensually given to them. Remember how shocked everyone was when the PS3 first came out and they revealed the price for it? Does anyone remember how insane that was?
Yeah, and the PS3 flopped at release. The PS3 had to be completely revamped and like repersonified because it was such a disaster at the beginning. Sony got arrogant and they paid the price for it. Nintendo has been complacent and arrogant for quite some time, and it sure would be nice if they paid the price soon.
And now nobody's questioning it. All their consumers, all the Nintendrones, the normies, they don't care. Normies don't care. That's why they like these yellow paint kind of games that handhold them like movies. They're just basically watching a movie.
You keep doing this really annoying thing where you say stuff that I think is really dumb, and then you say stuff that I wholeheartedly agree with. Can you pick a lane, please? It's really confusing me.
These normies, they'll pay whatever price just to see something move on a screen that are like moths to a flame. They're
Why are the background NPCs in this game moving at like 12 frames per second? Oh my god, who the fuck pays money for this shit?
They're like insectoids looking at a bright light, things flashing on a screen. They don't care how easy it is. They don't care to come into your hobbies and ruin them. Like, they just want to pay to watch flashing colors on a screen. At the end of the day, that's why open world games exist.
It's funny that you bring this up because I saw a couple weird little tangents here. I saw someone tweet something like, "Oh, like early to mid 2000s slop." Like when you think of slop now versus what you would have called slop in the 2000s. 2000 slop is just like objectively so much better than modern slop. And my example of that is over the weekend, all the Twilight movies were back in theaters for some reason. I don't think it was a big anniversary or anything. They just put all the Twilight movies back in theaters. And my wife and I have been hate watching the Twilight movies. So we went and saw Breaking Dawn Part 2 on the big screen. We were only going to do one of them. So we did the last one. And I gotta tell you, for a big budget slop movie, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is not bad. Like, it really isn't. The rest of the movies are dog shit. Breaking Dawn Part 2, for some reason, they kind of cooked on that one. And I'm not sure why. I don't know why I went on this tangent. Fuck my butt. Can we just finish this up?
That is exactly why open world games exist, and that's why Nintendo only makes open world now.
Nintendo doesn't only make open world now, and Nintendo fucking open world games exist for reasons other than... Can you just wrap it up? Can you just wrap it up?
Because normies just want to walk across an entire field without doing anything.
I would argue that the more normie genre is the third-person cinematic action game, because then there's not even a chance of exploration. But that's just my opinion.
That is the truth. That is the absolute truth. And you know what else is the absolute truth? Jesus Christ. God bless everybody.
I mean, amen. But like, huh? Okay, so I can't tell how much of that was a joke, so I'm going to assume it was all a joke in Minecraft, right? It was all a joke in Minecraft. You said a bunch of really dumb things in Minecraft. Then you also said some things that I agreed with in Minecraft. Can I tell you something? I think I have a grand total of like 15 minutes of Minecraft playtime across my whole life. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And people get mad at me for that. People are like, Joe, you're a PC gamer? Joe, you play video games? You don't play Minecraft? You don't like Minecraft? No, I don't like Minecraft. I'm sorry. I just don't get the appeal. I really don't. I don't know why I'm talking about any of this at this point. I'm just going to the Doofus Clubs and go take a fucking nap. Did you guys watch the World Series? That was great. Game 7 of the World Series, specifically, Game 7, like, that made, put your opinions on the two teams aside and the state of the MLB aside. Game 7 of the World Series, I think was one of the best singular baseball games I've ever watched. That was such a fucking great game. And now I just don't know what to do, because I feel like my love for baseball has been like revived this year. Because I grew up a Mariners fan, I grew up a Mariners fan. I didn't really it's hard to be passionate about baseball like as a whole when you're a Mariners fan. But then the Mariners got me reinvested in baseball the last couple of years. This year especially. I took one look at Cal Raleig's big dumper and was like, all right, I got to start following this sport more closely again. And now I just love baseball again. But also, god damn it, what am I supposed to do for the next 5 months until there's baseball again? Is that right? 5 months? They start the end of April is when baseball starts up again? Yeah, it's like 5-ish months until there's baseball. And I live in Colorado, so it's not like there's anybody doing spring training out here. Because nobody spring trains in Colorado. Why would you? There's nothing out here except really weird atmosphere for baseball. So I don't know. I guess this is just when I start playing backyard baseball for 12 hours a day. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm too powerful. Okay, Doofus Club time, I guess. I said that like a minute ago, and then I didn't do it, so now I'm doing it. Oh no, it's CM Punk's all around. Joe Goons for guest on here had 6 dozen eggs. Max Killer V2 Gaming, Nate Elite 3 Ability Then Char. I want to squeeze Harmon Smith's temples. Grimsy Shadows and Jason Bond. Unicorn Rocco. It's a hard nug life. It's a hard nug life. Nice dude. Women Savage. Pimp Love in Bowler Hand. Biscuit 101. 101. No payoff. Official drinks. Oh no, it's Snoop Doggy Duck. Did you know I'm a drama teacher and as my day job? Vector, Vendetta, Autry, Mechanical Resident, Sick Nick, Mad Fox, 94, Exchange Induction, Bear Brand, Stick Rider, Broken Crown, Profit Backing. No more, so yeah, I just got my first card, Devastator 2000, Jake Spider Monkey 1994, Japan, Jet Tech TVs, Joe Schmo from Schmiels, Schmitz, Chris, Void, Vaz, Dennis, Game with Dead People, Muskie, Big Fudge, Bodie McBoatface, and the Modi McMoatface, Klepto Penguin, Joshua 6, Multi-Theme Release, Oracle, Blast 1314, Jimmy Chops, Sep Joy, Drop the Soap, Whoops, Max the Killer, Storm 26, Tom Schnorl, Axon, Unknown 86, 6718, the letter H, Live Action Scooby-Doo from 2002, deserves an Oscar. Ed Shadow Virus 1789, Kishku, Ben Fondue, you're telling me a gingerbreadless man, T-Train, Reisger, and Non Voila, High, Partial Main 8, Volkswagen, Ocom, Main 4372, WX, Game 127YT, Snake Eyes 227, Give Me Your Word, 712, Game K296E, Hentai, Smock, Game of Fire, Hazard 105, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Lord Baz in the second, Joe Last House in the Moat, Big Gay, Look Little Without Us, PC Gamer, Jessica Shepherd, Ricky's Power, Dicky Tabby, Autonomic Dog, Ruminous Tail Angel, Harmon Smith, Boxes, Pikachu Plush, Daily. Ew. Baron von Varnheim, Cyrus 6771, 2 940. I saw that Halo spelling video spelling mistake, video, Halo, lol, lamau. Creed Warrior 23, Max the Chat, similar to Chat, totally insane. Gar, Binks, Misa, ready to get pegged. Okay. That's, okay. Okay. Bullet, okay. Night of Cypher, ML04, IM6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray, Wolf of Midnight, Pig, Venus, Sequence, Studios, Film, Kraken, Ohm, Gaming, Tariq, Brown, Thornscape, Maganek, Severin, Evans, Mr. Sonny 3, Scalina for Wymax, Pow, Donnie Weston, Nick, Gob Gonson, Rogue Winter 919, Zach Thane, Kinnigan, Damien, Hangman for Hire, Ellen Noble, Frost, Control, Biogenesis, Floppy Pingus 97, Mega Key, Scrubs, Go, Ghost, Reese, Hoggy, Reptitan, Autostep 94, Blue Hook, The Winnie Wank, Mr. Techno Squeak, Jody Peters, May Wiggy, Van Jensen, Big Advertisement, Diego Garcia, Kim Begins, I American Indian, Harmon Smith, Other Chin, Ono Stressman, Rand, Roy, Tweeny Wanks, World 7, Test My Tickles, Wanna Be Hobo, Westa, Jay's Fan, Respects the Mariners, Veg, Goop, Nana, Curtin, Allen, Spack, Sal, How That I Can't Help It, I'm British. Whew, okay. Yeah, let's just call it there. Let's just call it there, and we'll call it there. Cool, toodles.